Good morning, friends. I'm Simona Picchini. I'm a senior investigator, clinical pharmacologist at Drug Abuse and Doping Unit at National Institute of Health, Rome, Italy. Today we will start a new, interesting learning episode of Examination of Drugs, Part 9. We will speak about cocaine in different modules. Module 1, Introduction to Cocaine. Module 2, Mechanism of Action. Module 3, Metabolism of Cocaine. Module 4, Acute Poisoning. Module 5, Chronic Poisoning. Module 6, Cause of Death. Module 7, Conclusions. Cocaine is the alkaloid, the main alkaloid, contained in the coca leaf of a little green plant called Erythroxylon coca. This plant is present especially in South America, Colombia, Bolivia, but also in a little part of Venezuela, Argentina. Erythroxylon coca grows especially in the Andean region of South America because this little shrub requires very good altitudes to grow and to produce a certain amount of coca alkaloid. Traditionally, since the ancient time, coca leaves were chewed and smashed during religious ceremonies for the stimulation, but also by the workers in the mountains to resist to the lack of oxygen at the high altitudes and to encompass headaches caused by these altitudes. So the same worker, the same Andean population started to extract with lime the coca leaves, obtaining a white coca paste which was more concentrated in cocaine. Indeed, in fresh leaves you can find around 1% of cocaine, while in the so-called coca paste you can find more concentrated cocaine, 20–30% of cocaine. Also, the preparation of cocaine hydrochloride, which is a salt, a crystal white salt, and the form in which cocaine is usually abused, is handmade by the populations of South America. The coca paste is treated and extracted to obtain this salt, which is sold in crystals, and more pure are the crystals in cocaine, more expensive are the preparation. But there is another very dangerous preparation called crack, which is cocaine based with hydrocarbonate, and it is smoked, and it is a cheapest way to sell cocaine, which is immediately absorbed by snorting, and it is usually abused by the black population of the United States because of his cheap cost. Cocaine is generally snorted or injected intravenously to be immediately absorbed and pass the blood-brain barrier. Once in the brain, cocaine does not display specific receptor. Cocaine acts indirectly on dopaminergic at maximum, but also on the other neurotransmissions, being a reuptake inhibitors of neurotransmitters. And basically, the site of actions is nucleus accumbens. So the mechanism is the following. The neurotransmitter is liberated from the upper synapses in the intersynaptic space, and then it passed to the lower synapses, and then it is reabsorbed in the upper synapses. But since cocaine inhibits this reuptake, a bunch of neurotransmitters remains in the intersynaptic space, continuing its stimulant actions. The problem is that with the passing of the time and with this hyperstimulation of neurotransmitters, the morphology of the same synapses is modified, and we have a morphological alteration of the sites of the brain where cotinine mainly acts. The peak effect of cocaine is usually within the first hour after the intake. Cocaine is transformed into benzoyl ecgonine, its primary metabolite, which is inactive. Also to ecgonine methylester, which is another inactive metabolite, and both of them are then transformed in ecgonine. In the presence of alcohol, with the simultaneous consumption of cocaine with alcohol, another metabolite is formed, cocaethylene. Cocaethylene is the biomarker of simultaneous consumption of cocaine and ethanol, and it is used as a proof of the simultaneous consumption of these two substances of abuse. There is another metabolite, norcocaine, which is a very toxic metabolite for the cardiovascular system. In pregnant mothers, the metabolism of cocaine is altered, and sometimes no cocaine is formed. For this reason, sometimes the consumption of cocaine in pregnant women can be more dangerous for the production of these cardiotoxic metabolites. Usually, cocaine and its metabolites, benzoyl ecgonine, are detected in blood as a proof of recent cocaine consumption. Cocaine alone, the parent drug, can be measured in saliva to establish an actual consumption, while benzoyl ecgonine without cocaine is normally found in urine. If we examine hair samples to prove the past exposure to cocaine, we will always look for both cocaine and benzoyl ecgonine. Both metabolites have to be present in different segments of hair to prove past exposure of cocaine. After the intake of cocaine, we can observe side effects such as tachycardia, but also bradycardia, pupillary dilation, blood pressure increase, psychomotor agitation, seizures, confusion, arrhythmias, and coma. Cardiovascular system is highly affected by the consumption of cocaine. We have to remember that cocaine is a vasoconstrictor, so it can close the peripheral vessels of hands and feet. Many times we observe consumers with swollen hands and feet, and many times we observe consumers who completely destroyed the inner part of nose due to the vasoconstriction of capillary vessels. The long-term consumption of cocaine is really very dangerous because of the side effects of cocaine. Psychosis, anxiety, paranoia, a sense of agitation are observed in long-term consumers of cocaine. They were so anxious and so paranoid that sometimes they are not able to read or to speak or to drive vehicles. Many deaths have been observed in consumers of cocaine, and many times the two drugs found in the sedated people or in wounded people are cocaine and alcohol, which are simultaneously consumed. The vasoconstriction of peripheral vessels can create necrosis. The final parts of hands, fingers, and feet fingers become black. The blood is blocked in its circulation. And finally, these necrotic parts have to be cut because sometimes it's not possible to recover the circulation in little vessels. Cardiovascular system is highly compromised, also for the reductions of the vessels and for the modification in heart structure. The principal cause of cocaine death is infarction or cerebral hemorrhage, stroke in general, heart failure. Due to the effects on cardiovascular system displayed by cocaine and sometimes by its cardiotoxic metabolite norcocaine. Speaking about Western countries, we have to say that in recent years, 500% increase in heart attacks and infarctions have been observed in the emergency department. And it was disclosed that they were caused by cocaine, apart from analytical measurements, but also by the fact that the median age of people undergoing infarction were around 35 or 45 of ages. So an age range very different from that of people usually undergoing infarction, who are usually older than these young individuals. Cocaine consumption is a male abused. Very seldomly it is found in women in comparison with males. The relationship between male consumers and female consumers are 4:1. We talk about an increase of 500% in sudden cardiac death in a population younger than the usual infarctuated people due to cocaine. Why this? Because it has been simultaneously observed an increase of 500% in cocaine sold unless in the Western countries. Even if cannabis remains the most abused substance, cocaine is increasing year after year its market. At the beginning, the cost of cocaine was very high if compared to the other drugs of abuse. Imagine that methamphetamine preparation cost $1 per preparation. And so cocaine was considered the drug of rich people. But then the production in South America increased. Many forests have been destroyed in favor of cultivation of cocaine shrubs. This hyperproduction decreases the price of cocaine, up to reaching costs of $10 per preparation. This is the price now usually applied in Western countries, not for pure cocaine, but for what is called street cocaine, which is cut with some other substances, and some of them also psychoactive. Some of them also poisoning substances, like levamisole, which is the first adulterant of cocaine. This increase in consumption of cocaine has been studied in a very particular way, differently for heroin addicts who always reach the detoxification center because their general health is very much impaired and because they need maintenance treatment. Usually the populations consuming cocaine is a little bit different, is culturally and economically improved with respect of heroin addicts, so they don't reach the detoxification center, and so the increase of use cannot be correctly monitored. So an indirect monitoring of increasing cocaine use was developed by studying the presence of cocaine and its metabolite, benzoyl ecgonine, in the waste waters of black waters in the cities and in the rivers. A European group of scientists developed a mathematical equation to indirectly calculate the amount of cocaine consumed in a city. For example, the city of Milan, Italy, was studied and the river Po was examined for the presence of cocaine and its metabolites. And it has been discovered that the doses supposed to be consumed in that city were in reality more than 3 or 4 times. So another study was developed collecting the waste waters of recreational places. And not only cocaine, but other substances of abuse were studied, but cocaine revealed to be the first. In this episode, we spoke about cocaine, which is an alkaloid extracted by the coca leaves in South America. It was used in the ancient times for religious ceremonies, and now is highly abused, especially by the young adults culturally developed, such as postdoc young adults or individuals with working positions, which are very important. It is a male use more than a female use, and it involves at its maximum individuals between 40 and 50 years of age. In very recent studies, it has been discovered that since cocaine provokes erectile dysfunction, it is many times used with Viagra, sildenafil. The erectile dysfunction is caused by the reduction of peripheric vessels, also in penis, and so erectile dysfunction is caused, which is a serious thing because individuals are also consuming another pharmaceutical which cannot be sold without prescription. The two substances together can cause synergic actions and more life-threatening than cocaine alone. Another important possibility of death caused by cocaine is in the story of body packers. To be transported from South America to Europe or to other parts of the world, some dealers prepare packs of cocaine closed in plastics which are ingested by the body packers. Then they usually take a plane and reach in a maximum of 12-15 hours other part of the world. At this point, a laxative is given to the people and they eliminated these cocaine packagings. The problem is that if the package has not been correctly prepared, it can break in the digestive tract of an individual and cause an immediate death by infarction. Body packers can be discovered because some person present in the plane can notice and list the people who did not consume any water or food during a 12 or 15 hours flight. This is impossible. And the flights coming from South America are very much controlled. At this point, once at the arrival, this individual can be X-rayed and cocaine packagings are discovered. For this reason, in the last times, dealers used pregnant women as body packers. The reason of this is that X-rays cannot be used in pregnant women. And so in this way they try to overcome the problem of body packing and discovering body packing. So at this point, if pregnant women coming from the source of cocaine productions, basically South American, can be stopped and treated with a laxative to discover if they are body packers. Many times these people die during the flight. And so this is another cause of death. And sometimes they also die when elimination of packing is provoked and one of them is broken.